It's the middle of August and it is time to start preparing for your spring and summer garden. My name is Bridget and this is the Sherwood Urban Farm. I'm going to start off with my favorite kind of bean, bush bean. I enjoy these beans because you don't have to stake them up and they are so prolific. They just yield stringless, beautiful green pea beans and they're just lovely. What I normally do is I just fill up, I love these little 12 cell trays, and then I'll start them off in this, and then I will move them over to the 6 cell trays over here once they get a bit bigger. I've tried a whole bunch of different methods. I take my potting soil, which is quite fine. It's got quite a bit of peat moss in it. I buy it from growers, seedling growers near Jeffreys Bay, and then I will err on actually sowing the seeds a little bit shallower than what I would a little deeper, because especially when they're in these small little trays, I'm going to pot them up anyways into the 6 cell trays. So then I'm going to fill it up the level of the soil anyways. So I'll just stick in 2 seeds per cell, and then I fill it in the depth. It's about 1 centimeter. That's almost my standard depth at which I sow most seeds. And just push that down a bit. Next up is butternut. Now these seeds are saved from a butternut that I had grown in my garden. So the advantages of saving seed is that it's supposed to germinate better and it's already used to your growing conditions in your garden, so your little microclimate and that, and then you know also how it performs, so you can save seed from the best fruits or vegetables that you've gotten. Same procedure, I just pop them into my little 12 cells and cover them up. Here we go, 2 per cell, just to ensure germination in each cell. I think this might be too many actually. I should possibly have sowed it in the 6 cell. Anyways, rather too many than too little, because often what happens is something like will eat your plant, or it just dies, it doesn't whatever perform, and then you have some backup seedlings to pop in. Or if you can pot them on in the greenhouse, then you can possibly sow a second harvest of seedlings later on in the season. This year I'm planting the sweet burpless cucumber. I did plant it last year as well, and I was really impressed with its performance. Like the name implies, it is sweet, so there isn't that bitter taste to it. And then apparently that bitterness is what actually attracts your cucumber beetles and with its squash beetles and so on. So I'm going to do 12 plants as well, which is possibly more than I need, but that's also fine. These ones are also resistant to downy and powdery mildew. Let's see, how long until harvest? 65 to 70 days until harvest. But I'm going to just wait till it warms up a little bit more before I plant it out. Probably keep it indoors for about a month, and then I'll plant it out. I'll just see. So this is the cassata squash, which is really just a zucchini. And I did try the end of last summer to pop in a couple, but straight into the garden, but that didn't work out so well. The temperature started to drop too soon before it could start producing. So I'm very excited for that. They say that this one is a real prolific producer of its fruit, and it actually won in 1949 the All America Prize, whatever that is. So probably for zucchini. So 2 days have gone by and I'm not able to finish the video that I had started filming because the audio of the last video clips and all the other seeds, which is actually more than half of the footage that we had recorded, didn't have any audio because the battery on my little mic had gone flat. So I'm going to just show you the seeds that I had sown and tell you a little bit more about them. And we're just going to run with that. Sorry about that. I'm so disappointed. I can't tell you how disappointed I am because it was such amazing footage, and I was so chuffed with it. Anyway, so what I did, the rest that I sowed was these little tomatoes. My friend bought a packet of tomatoes from the shop, and they were these little cocktail tomatoes, oval shaped, and they had different colors. So she gave me one of each color, and then I saved the seed. And so there was a yellow, a black, a pink, and an orange. So I'm really excited for that. I just sowed a couple of little seeds in here, and they, because I don't know, these odd colored jobs, they don't always do so well, but maybe these ones will be better because the seed will be quite fresh. This was in November when she gave it to me. And then I also bought, I couldn't resist. This is an heirloom tomato. It's called Window Box Red. Now, this one, if you live in an apartment, block of flats, and you've only got a little balcony, you can use this seed. It makes it slightly bigger than a cherry tomato, and the whole plant is only about 45 centimeters in growth. And it will do 2 flushes if you give it some fertilizer, organic or whatever you use, and then it will give another flush of tomatoes. So it's really worth your while. I'm quite excited for this one. And then the last little cell, I had bought tomatoes from the spa, and they were these big red ones. So I couldn't resist saving some seed from that as well. Then I had saved seed from a red pepper that grew in the garden. It was a really beautiful big red pepper with, when their skin is like, or the flesh part of it is nice and thick, and it was sweet. So I thought I'll save the seed for that one as well, because then it's at least already climatized to my growing conditions in my garden. And I also saved seed from an eggplant, which I didn't harvest soon enough. And so the seeds, I just saved some of the seeds for those. I must say, I haven't had great success with growing eggplants from seed, even from bought seed. Anyway, but maybe this will do better. The seed is, however, from 2021, but sometimes seed can last quite long. And then, what else did I love this. I sowed, this is the burpless cucumber. It's sweet burpless. And I don't often see this in the shops, but when I do, I've even got my friends all looking out for it. This one did really well last season. And the reason why is because it is sweet, not bitter. And the bitter, I've learned, attracts all your squash beetles and cucumber beetles. So it did particularly well in the garden last season. And I had a lot. I don't know, it was like about 2 kilograms off of one plant. So I've sowed that as well. And then I sowed some of the caserta squash. This is a summer squash. It's actually just a zucchini with a fancy name. And then it's got these little speckles on it. This is ready for harvesting in 45 days. I mean, how cool is that? So, and they're so prolific. They just keep growing, keep producing. What I want to do this year is I want to stake it up. I've seen people doing that online. So instead of it just lying over on the ground, I'm going to stake it up. So I'm excited about this one. And then I did another go at the kale, Chomelia, just because all our animals, even our pets, the little, what's those things, guinea pigs. Oh, this is like the all-time favorite. Any brassica, actually, they love very much. But this one, it will tolerate the summer conditions as well, as opposed to your cabbages and broccoli and so on. And I sowed bush beans. Oh, I love bush beans. I prefer bush beans over climbing beans. They just seem to be sweeter, and and they're so prolific. And they also, 60 days to harvest. That's not bad. That's just 2 months. I'm really excited for that. And then I saw this at the supermarket the other day. Nigella Persian Jewel. It's beautiful. I'm hoping that it will be one of those things like a cosmos that will just keep coming back year after year once it's finished flowering, and it will drop its seeds. It takes very long though till it starts to flower. It's like 120 to 150 days. That's very long. But that's fine. I think it's worth it. It is really beautiful. And what else did I forgot in the previous 2 days ago, I forgot to actually sow these seeds. These are okra. So if anybody has eaten okra or has grown okra, please let me know in the comments what you think of its taste. Some people say the texture can be a bit slimy. So it's quite a thing in the south, in the deep south of America, not South America, like Georgia and Carolinas and so on. They really enjoy this. I wonder actually, because also in North Africa, so I wonder if the seed wasn't taken over by the slaves years ago. Anyways, it seems it's quite healthy, but you got to, if you really want all the health benefits, you got to eat it while it is still raw. Otherwise, it goes well in soups and stews. So I'm very excited to grow that one as well. And then I had saved sweet corn that I bought from a farmer's market. And because in the shops, I have only been able to find the golden bantam, those little jobs. Now they're taking up a whole bed and the same growing time as a regular sweet corn. So I actually don't, I think that's a waste of my time. I don't want little things like this. I want a proper sweet corn. I did germinate some after after I had dried it, just to see if they would germinate, because I was concerned maybe they should stay on the plant a bit longer. Maybe they should. Who knows? But I'm going to give it a go. I actually planted two of these 12 cell trays of them. In my house, you can't have enough sweet corn. And what else did we do? Oh yes, I did some home saved seed butternut. I just, when I'm busy in the kitchen, I think this was one that actually grew in my garden. So I just put it in some paper towel to dry, and then when it's dry, then I'll put it in a Ziploc. So I did that. I was gonna do which you can do now. You can sow it. Look, all these things, I've got them in my greenhouse. So if you're going to sow your seeds now in the middle of August, just put them in the house and in a warm place where they can germinate. They don't need sun to germinate. That's why they're all stacked on top of each other. They just need warm. So it's quite warm here in my greenhouse, so that's fine. But I was going to sow gem squash. And I was like, I'm not going to bother. They don't last long. Like, it's not like you can keep them with butternut. It's more almost like a winter squash. So, it gets that hard skin, and it lasts quite long in the kitchen, like on the counter or something. So that was what I sowed there. Yeah, that was it. So kale, let's just see. Yep, those were all of the seeds that I have sown. And then what I have also done in preparation for my summer garden is I took the side shoots off of the, this is a Spanish Santa, whatever, tomato. So whenever it's got little side shoots, then I break them off and I put them into the seed tray. I don't use any hormone powder. I just stick them straight in. This one's looking a little bit shoddy, but I mean, these ones have been in for a while. I'm not sure why these leaves are a little bit yellow, but I don't think that's the end of the world. Maybe I'll just give it some liquid fertilizer just to perk it up a bit. But that's it. So, sorry about the mekaar, hier gaan under, messed up, whatever footage we've got here. But that's what I've sowed so long for my spring and summer garden. I always feel it is better for me to start earlier than later, because by the time January, even sometimes into December, but certainly January strikes. If you've only started sowing your seeds in like November, your first lot of seeds, the heat is just so incredible in January, February, sometimes even into March. It just cooks your plants. It's like things like tomatoes don't like that. So the eggplants, they don't mind. They'll have that really hot heat, but not anything else really. And the other thing is I haven't actually sowed any lettuce, because I have let my lettuce plants go to seed. And I've just found that they're actually so much better if they start to germinate in the soil where they land, then I'll prick them out and I'll put them into seed trays, and then I'll transplant them around. And what's also interesting is that I found I have a variety of lettuce in my garden now, which were volunteers, but it looks like they seem to have crossbred. So it looks like it's a cross between an Elsa and a Rosa lettuce. I don't know if this is possible because I didn't sow these ones. They've got these peculiar long leaves, but this beautiful rose colored on the leaves. And yeah, they taste fine. A little bit on the bitter side, some of the ones which have got more of that rosy stuff, but that's sort of almost typical of your reddish kind of lettuce. So that was quite interesting. And I like it that it just germinated in my garden. It wants to live and it wants to be here. And so happy days, it can stay. So that's why I haven't sowed any lettuce. But most of the time, in any case, lettuce bolts. Yeah, by January, it will start bolting anyways because it's just too hot. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video and that you will now be inspired to start sowing your seeds, even in your house or in your little greenhouse, whatever. And let me know what you all are sowing for your spring and summer gardens in the comments below. And I hope you have a fantastic day further.